Welcome back to Inuyasha Anime Review Part 2. This one we're going episodes 9 to 18. Though I should point out 18 is actually part 1 of a 4-parter. But the only reason why that I decided to do this one as the last episode of this one, because, well, I figured I would do it just a couple extra episodes than what I was originally planning to do this one. Now, the thing with these episodes, with the exception of episode 11, most of the episodes are in chronological order. 11 actually happens between episodes 8 and 9. Yes, it's an episode that actually adapt out of order. Oh, in case you're wondering, how many chapters does they adapt in 10 episodes? They start with chapter 23, and they stop with the second to last page of chapter 61. That is a lot of chapters in just 10 episodes. It's like, let's see, that's like roughly almost 40 chapters. This is just in 10 episodes. Yes, 40. That's because a lot of the time, basically, some of these episodes have there's one episode that actually have like 6 chapters. There are some episodes that even have like 4. Now, let's talk about first about now. Is there any like new characters or new stuff introduced in these episodes? Oh yes, there is. First, let's start with episodes 9 and 10, a 2-parter, which is the first appearance of Shippo, and you get a little bit of his backstory with the main villains of this 2-parter, the Thunder Brothers. By the way, I pointed out in my Yu Hakusho review the handsome brother of the two. Yeah, he kind of reminded me there was a character from Yu Hakusho where appearance-wise is probably based upon this particular character, but because this probably came out after Yu Hakusho, my personal guess is that this character is probably based on him. That's just my personal guess, anyways. Yeah. Oh, and by the way, combined, these two also have shards Shinkan Jewel. Combined, how many do they have? 5. Yep, they have 5 shards. Yep. I think like the handsome one's got 3, and then the one looking like a reptile, he's got 2. And Kagome actually wounds him by a couple times. First by firing an arrow through his nose, and she also manages to cut off his tiny bits of hair he has. Yeah. And at one point he was thinking of making a hair growth formula for her, but at least he was trying to eat her. And also, apparently that his brother brings home a date to their place, and he gets so upset he kills his date right in front of him. Right in front of his own brother. Why did they kill off this woman for? Reason? There really is no reason at all. These two characters don't appear after this 2-parter. Yeah, they don't. And pretty much Kagome and Shippo are the ones who killed the reptilian one. And as for the handsome one, he's killed by frickin' Inuyasha. Though prior to his death, his brother is absolutely quite sad. He bites into his brother's forehead and basically absorbs his brother's power into himself. They're called Thunder Brothers because of the thunder and lightning attacks. Myoga the flea actually does appear in this one. After like episode, I think it's like 11, he disappears for quite a while. He's not in the next several episodes. He does appear like 1 hour episode after this one, but that's pretty much it. He appears in like episode 12, but that's the last see of him. He disappears right after that. Also in this 2-parter, the sheath that shields up Tenseiga actually is damaged by the Thunder Brothers. In case you wonder, why is it fixed? Because chronologically, they adapted some of these chapters out of order. Why did the Sunrise do this? No idea. That's pretty much what they did. But it's a good 2-parter, basically. It's very exciting. And you got a couple of brothers. And now, basically, thanks to defeating these two, they now have 7 shards. Yep, 7 shards of the Shinkan Jewel. And then pretty much after this particular 2-parter, we have Terror of the Ancient No Mask. Yeah, this is the one actually set before this 2-parter. Yes. I am curious though. Like, Viz Media are the one basically to dub this. Now, when they basically dub Rama Half, they actually released the episodes actually out of order from the release date. Pretty much what they did with that particular series, they basically released it in order of like how these story arcs appear in the manga. I'm surprised they didn't do that with Inuyasha for some reason. I have no idea why. Yeah. The story of this one is actually quite bizarre, to say the least. Oh, and by the way, one of the chapters they adapt for this episode, chapter 24, it is by far the most darkest chapter of the whole entire series. Because this Nomads kills a lot of people in a short space of time. I think he's rumored to have killed about 30 people in the span of a few hours. Because of how powerful this bizarre mask, which also has a shard of the Shinkan Jewel in it. Yep. By the way, this is the first of 2 episodes in a row where the action is done in modern day. Yep. Though not the first time Inuyasha's come to modern day. Yeah, and the reason why that... And oh yeah, there's actually a reason for Kagome come to modern day. Because test study for. Also, Shippo is nowhere to be seen in the episode. He's not even mentioned. The reason? Because it doesn't appear in the chapters. So Kagome goes home, stay for the test. Everything's pretty normal until basically Nomads decides to unseal itself and go on a rampage. Also causing a fire that basically puts Kagome's grandfather in the hospital. Oh, don't worry, he's fine. He basically never gets killed off. Yeah, that's one thing at least got praised about the writer of the series. She's not killed any member of Kagome's family. She has killed other members of other characters' families, but not Kagome's. Because it's present day, and this is one of 2 times in these episodes where it's set in modern day. Yep. Also, basically, she finds out about the stupid stuff that her grandfather makes up. Make up these strange illnesses that explain her frequent absences. Apparently, now this is very common in the series, that basically her grandfather and her mother make up these stupid excuses in order to explain why she's not going to school. She can't bother to tell them she's actually time traveling. Yeah, this is a recurring thing that will last the entire series. Episode 11 introduces this in the actual anime itself. Yep, there's also a guy who appears in this episode. This is actually his first appearance. This guy has an ink for Kagome. He is by far the only guy in present day who has an ink for her. And, oh yeah, in case you're wondering, does he end up with her at the end of the series? If I read the manga, no, he doesn't. I won't tell who he ends up with, but it's not with Kagome. He ends up with somebody else. Yeah, I'll get to that when I talk about Final Act. When I get a chance to watch, I still haven't watched Final Act yet. And basically, Inuyasha's Dragon Modern Day fights the No Mask, destroys it, recovers Shinkan Jewel, does basically bring up to about 8. Yes, 8. Overall, basically 8 shards in just a few episodes. Interesting. And then the very next episode, The Soul Piper and the Mischievous Little Soul. Yeah, this one's a really weird one. Because this one comes right after when Shippo was first introduced, chronologically of course, where you have this demon called the Pied Piper, and the Sound Piper, who appears both in the feudal era and in present day. And this 2-parter has nothing to do with Jules at all. I mean, from the feeling of the episode, it feels like a filler episode in a way. But here's the thing. It's actually canon. Despite the fact it has the rumblings of a filler episode, but it's pretty much canon. Yeah, the story of this one is that a little girl gets killed in the fire. Kagome sees her ghost. And apparently her mother sees her as a ghost too. And she tries a couple times to try to kill her brother because it's sort of a misunderstanding, basically, that she thinks that her mother cares more for her brother than her. Because he's always ill. And apparently she didn't know that, mother did not know she was in the closet. She saved her brother, but not her. Nope. I think the reason why his brother didn't tell her, because it's actually in the flashback that she told him not to tell the mother where she was hiding. That's the simple gist of it. And simply put, the Pied Piper, here's the thing about Piper. He is by far the only demon that appears in the entire series that I've seen. When Inuyasha does not fight it, basically it's all Kagome who defeats the ghost. Simple as that. 13 introduces a new ripple in the series. And it's also technically the last appearance for a little while for Myoga. Why? Because he goes off and does whatever the heck he wants. That's simply him for you. By the way, this actually no character returns in a later episode. Does he appear in that one? No, he doesn't. Yeah, basically it's revealed in this standalone episode. Yes. Here's kind of the interesting thing. From episode 11 to I think it's like episode 17, it's all standalone episodes. Despite the fact they're adapting like three to four chapters per episode, it's a standalone episode. Yes. Now with this one is basically revealing about Inuyasha's black hair. Yes, at the time of the new moon, which happens like every few months, he loses demon powers for one night. Yep, for one night he used to lose his demon powers. And apparently can't use the Tenseiga until like the very next day. Yeah, Kagome sees it after she removes Cobweb because they fight a spider demon this one. Yep, and the spider demon has a shard of the Shinkan Jewel. Typical. Yep. And yeah, the thing is, the priest the spider demon is basically the priest of this temple, which to me a one-shot character who appears only in this standalone episode. Yeah. Which they save her basically from drowning, and then she apparently doesn't trust demons, but after this one, she starts trusting good demons, because apparently there are some good demons out there. Yeah, demons defeated by Inuyasha went during daylight, and that's that. Next up is, now I did say kind of basically these episodes for kind of standalone. 14 and 15 are technically a two-parter. Yeah, but 16 and 17 are just two standalone-ish episodes. Yep. Episode 14, which is called Kikyo's Ashes Are Stolen. Yep. They reveal exactly in this episode where Kikyo's ashes were buried. Apparently buried in a grave, which, from what I can tell, looks like very traditional Japanese funeral burial thing at a nearby temple. And it's stolen by a demon named Yuroshi. Yeah, this ugly old lady demon who steals it just so she can get her hand on the Shinkan Jewel, which is a very thing for the series. It's a recurring plot thread. They commonly reuse the thing. I have to use this jewel to be powerful. Yeah, this thing about this big. Yeah, the shards are generally around the same size. Why? Just because they are. Oh, and also I should point out, though, the spider demon did get his hands on a good chunk of the... Well, I think it was this episode, was it? It was, Yeah, I think it was episode 13 when he absorbed all the jewels himself. Basically, they formed these 8 jewels, basically, kind of form like the bottom half of the jewel itself. Yeah, which is quite interesting. 7 shards make this small thing. Okay, quite interesting. Yeah, and so they're ordered back to go to the village. Well, because Inuyasha just goes back because it just feels like it. He said something's wrong, and he hears about what happened with Kiko's ashes. So, basically, Kagome, Inuyasha, and Kide, Kikyo's sister, who hasn't really done all that much in the series, at this point anyways. Oh, in case you went as a train. Yep, and they go trail down the woman. Yeah, who proceeds to resurrect Kikyo in a brand new body. Oh, I should point out though, in the manga, for this particular scene, you actually see Kikyo's breast in this particular scene, even her rear end. In the anime, they kind of censor it by basically covering up her hair. Yeah, in case you're wondering about the whole nudity thing. Now, the thing with this is that certain anime are known for their nudity. High School DxD was known for doing a lot for a lot of female characters. Like almost every episode, they go naked. A lot of times for very much no reason at all. In the case of this series, it's only the female characters that go naked. Well, or seen naked anyways. Shippo himself does take up his clothes one episode, but yeah. But Kagome actually is seen naked a couple times in the series. You actually do see these characters' breasts, and the thing is, the writer of the series basically is known for doing this for female characters. Sometimes, a lot of the time, showing them the nude. Sometimes for absolutely no reason at all, but yeah. My only guess is the reason why she was able to get away with it because she's a woman and she knows how to draw a woman naked because she's a woman. That's my theory on it, and I'm going to stick to it, and I'm going to move on from that. Yeah. Oh, and also, when you see basically Kikyo in nude, you also see her not only her chest, but also her butt. Yep, her butt. You see a little bit of her butt, but not the entirety of it. Also, apparently, despite the fact they resurrect her, no soul. Yep, so, and then Kagome comes in, basically on the swinging bridge, coming across the clay soldiers the very next episode. Yep. And then somehow off screen, the Ukiyo decided to make up her clothes that she wore before she died. Yeah, how in the world that she managed to figure out exactly what this woman looked like 50 years prior? Now, back then, they had no pictures. My guess is she must see her at distance 50 years prior. That, or she probably had a description of her, probably from other demons from the series. It's never really explained how the heck she even knew what Kikyo even looked like. Oh yeah, and during the course, and she sees Inuyasha, still thinks he betrayed her, and of course her wound comes back. By the way, at this episode she disappears for a little while. Yeah, and like she sees Kide, and she's like, "Who are you?" He's like, "I'm your sister," and nothing much has followed up with that. In case you're wondering, does Kikyo ever interact with her sister the series? Not really, no. I think maybe there's some hints that they might interact with each other, but their interaction after this episode is very... Let's just say I don't really remember if they do or not. As far as I don't remember if... Like I said, I don't remember if they do or not because she's shocked to see the fact she's aged. Yeah, for a woman who's aged 50 years, she looks like she's probably in her 60s. Despite the fact, I think at the time, she's probably 10 or 12. She could be in her 50s, 60s, I say. Yeah, so basically, Kikyo and Inuyasha have a brief scuffle, which has lost most of her soul back to Kagome, and she falls over a cliff, and she disappears. By the way, she's not dead. She actually comes back later on. Like, she comes back within 7 episodes. So, don't worry, she's not gone forever. And then, pretty much after this two-parter, Miyokuru makes his debut in the series. Yep, a brand new character who shows up for the rest of the series. And he introduces many things about the series in this episode. For one thing, he introduces basically via mentioning him. He actually kind of shows up in a later episode, a couple episodes after this one. He basically mentions the main villain of the series, Naraku. This technically is his first appearance in the series, though it's via conversation. You don't see physical appearance not for a little while, actually. This is not only introduction to him, we get introduction to his backstory and his move that he has. The wind tunnel in his, from what I can tell, his left hand. Yeah, it's basically a hole in his hand. That was basically, now apparently this is basically a multi-generational thing. Apparently Naraku did this 50 years prior to his own grandfather. Well, to Baroku's grandfather. And like, this is passed on for generations. And there's a joke later on, it's like, because he was like, I think he was dying, so he asked her to go and bury him his son. It's like, no, I'm not doing that for you. Because she has to think for Inuyasha. No, she has to figure out it later. I'm only saying this because I read the manga. Yeah. And I watched the anime. Well, I'll get more on that later. Yep. And, like, of course, thinks Inuyasha's a bad person. Of course, when they first meet, well, basically, he's seen peeping on her. Because the thing is, they call him a lecher. Basically, he's a pervert. Yeah, he's a pervert. And this is a common thing with this character. He's like this the whole series until he finally meets the woman he loves. Yeah. He does to her a few times in the series, so he gets smacked by her. Until basically they get hooked up later on, like really hooked up via engagement. Which I won't get more into that until I get to that point of the series. But he does get engaged. But not to Kagome. That's something else altogether. Yep, and pretty much he has this thing for making up the story. Oh yeah, there's a dark cloud above your place. Let me exercise it for you. Yep, that's simply what he does. Yeah, and basically how he meets Kagome is the most bizarre way possible. He kidnaps her and somehow knows to ride a bicycle. Yeah, it's never explained of how in the world he knows how to ride a bicycle, despite the fact that, here's kind of the thing, the bicycle was not invented for another 400 years. Yes, I don't think it's invented like 1900s. Like, how in the world he knows how to write this damn thing is never explained in the series. He just somehow knows how to use this damn thing. Oh yeah, I'll use your contraption, Kagome, he says later on in the episode. He does not know it's a freaking bicycle. Yeah. Also, he steals, well, Kagome's Shikon jewels, which she is fine in the very next episode. Yep. This is simply put just a standalone episode. This is where, with this one, the introduction to the fact that Moroku basically travels with Inuyasha for pretty much the rest of the series. Yeah. Of course, after they defeat the demon that they fight in this episode, I think it was this episode, was it? Yeah, 16 he doesn't count Demon such as Inuyasha. The next episode, he kind of does, but with a bunch of ink demons. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Also, this guy has a Shikon jewel with him. So, where is it? It's in his bamboo pole thing, which apparently his ink is kept in. Oh, in case you're worrying about this damn thing, I also saw this thing in Naruto. It's also used for carrying ink. It's also the drinking thing when they drink water out of. Yeah, it was seen in that series. And I think there was one other series I did see this thing in, and that was Demon Slayer, I think. But that's pretty much it. That's all I've seen of that particular bamboo thing. It's mostly like a water bottle, but he uses here as basically hold his ink and his Shikon jewel in. And basically his dream is to become a warlord. Because also he has a thing for a smoking hot princess whose father is in this one episode, and she doesn't do anything the whole episode. She shows up a few times, and there was a joke in the episode like, "Hey, because I saved your place from demons, I'd like your daughter's bodyguard. I like to stay in the same bed as her," implying he probably wants to sleep, like doing like the adult thing with her, and sleep with her the adult way. But that's when Inuyasha, Kagome, and Shippo shows like, hey, yeah. Of course, they kind of hit the whole thing in the next episode. Yeah, that's when they take on a couple times the guy with the ink demons. They take him on twice in the episode. The second time, basically, they're able to basically take out his demons. Well, by taking out his ink shard, getting the jewel later on, and well, as for the guy himself, he gets devoured by his own ink. Yep. Rather than just being killed by somebody else. Oh, by the way, the feudal lord who appears in this episode, I don't think he appears again in the series. He just appears in one episode. Yeah, they frequently run to feudal lords with the whole entire series. It's very typical. I think like the only other series I could think of that actually had feudal lords, or at least something close to it, is probably Gintama, or probably Berserk Kenshin. Yeah. But it's a pretty good episode. 18 is the return of Sesshomaru for the first time since episode 7. Yes. His return to the series. Yeah, that's also the episode where Kagome reveals about Moroku's lies he loves to tell. Yep. And this one also has, kind of in the way Naraku's introductions to the series, though you don't see his face, he's in disguise. And he basically gives Sesshomaru an arm, showing Will Tenseiga. This also is basically Sesshomaru's first interaction with Moroku in the series. Yeah, because he was actually introduced a couple episodes prior, so why not introduce him? Yep. And he really wants that sword so badly that he proceeds to beat the crap out of his brother to do it, and he's able to hold it. Like, it was like, how are you holding that thing? You're a freaking demon. The answer? He doesn't say it, but he has a human arm. Yeah, the human arm was given to him by Naraku. Yeah. Which, basically, and Naraku not only gave him the arm, also gave him this wasp thing, which they revealed in the flashback. Yeah, and these wasps are used to neutralize Moroku, who was poisoned at the end of the episode. And the episode ends like cliffhanger. We could go and basically, well, first basically disengage the Tenseiga sword, turn it back to the rusty sword. It says, yeah, put the sword down or I'll fire the next one in your heart. Excuse me. And that's where the episode ends. Yeah, this episode is technically part 1 of a 4-parter. And like I said, the reason why I stopped at this episode was because that's what I wanted to stop. Yeah. But don't worry, the next episode will cover the rest of the whole entire season. Yep, so that's it for this particular review. Overall, really good episodes. Okay? So that's it. So next review of News Chapter 1 Punch Man, which has no name for the chapter. I'll talk more about that next. Okay, produce next review. Bye.